sheer hypocrisy of the West is staggering. Who can forget the October 7th, 2023, a day that is etched in my mind as a day when humanity lost its cool and barbarism took over. Hamas crossed the border and executed in the most horrendous fashion 1,200 civilians going about their lives in a peaceful manner in Israel. The details of the crime they committed were shocking. Their aim to kill Jews, raping and pillaging in their wake. And I've seen some of the footage. I've been to the Tunnels exhibition, which gave an insight into what the hostages have had and are, if any of them are still alive, having to put up with. Israel obviously retaliated. We would expect any government to retaliate. They demanded a release of the hostages and returned fire, aiming to expose and destroy Hamas, a declaration of war on Gaza. And war has been raging ever since. The casualties in Gaza are high. But the tipping point came when an aid convoy leaving Gaza came under Israeli fire, killing all 7 of its occupants, 3 of which were British. There are now calls from an embargo to stop supplying Israel with arms, as many are claiming that Israel have breached international law. Really? With David Cameron leading the charge, saying that support for Israel is not unconditional. So Michael Ellis, the former Attorney General, pointed out that those calling for Britain to stop selling arms are virtue signalling, and I'm inclined to agree with him. He said an arms embargo would be the wrong step strategically, economically and morally, and he's right. For one, we buy more arms off Israel than they do us, and secondly, the UK's reputation as a reliable arms exporter could be compromised. Here's the thing. Israel are fighting Hamas, an organisation that does not subscribe to international law, an organisation whose masters are harboured in Qatar, a country who, ironically, we licence the most amount of arms to. How ridiculous. Are we suggesting that Israel, who are a fellow democracy and also fighting Hezbollah in the north, should simply capitulate to make us all feel better? Virtue signalling, if ever I did hear it. Civil servants are refusing to work, saying that they may be complicit in breaching international law, which hasn't yet fully been determined, is what is happening. Please. A lot of people don't know this or have conveniently forgotten. But before October the 7th, Hamas were firing rockets at Israel for as long as I can recall. So Israel invested in an iron dome to protect itself rather than retaliate. But whilst Israel invested in keeping its citizens safe, Hamas, or Gaza, invested in tunnels to store munitions and hide their activities, the tunnels enabling them to evade Israel's scrutiny. There is no time for this virtue signalling baloney. War is a deadly business. Of course my heart goes out to all those killed from whichever side. But this could all stop today if the world put the same amount of pressure they have on Israel on those behind Hamas and insist that Hamas stop firing the missiles and return the hostages. If they embargoed Hamas, the war would stop. If they embargoed Israel, Israel would be annihilated.